decided to just go ahead and finish it. Um, Took a little break there. So he camouflages his attitude towards the reality of the place and time. So this is a really good because it establishes the tone. Okay, we know that the tone is very. I'm moving my book. Okay, the tone when he uses words like, so they've established what this is. We're talking about tone, and then they give examples. So prosperous people, that's an example that we didn't even quote, but always quote, but we're in a rush for time. So okay, so prosperous people, comfortable, flow. These are all examples, and College Board really looks for that to, AP readers really look for that. Or did you use examples? Did you figure out, did you really analyze what was happening? And I think this person really did analyze what's happening. So that's why they used this as an example for a stellar first paragraph. Okay. So structure is, so actually, if you have any questions about this, please feel free to email us, okay, at creativeflow313 at gmail.com. It's throughout our whole website. So just be aware of that. But this is this is really good because it shows examples, it establishes the tone, and it really analyzes what is happening, what's going on, what people are doing throughout the story. So let's go to structure now. Let's see how I formatted the last one. So yeah, we can go to structure now. So like I said earlier, when you're reading, you want to really kind of keep a mental note of what is going on. What am I going to write about in this rhetorical analysis? Whether it be some rhetorical devices such as metaphors and juxtaposition, as we talked about before, or it be more broad topics such as structure, tone, and detail, just like we have here now. So just whenever we're reading, I'm going to read you what the AP readers expect as a good answer to a rhetorical analysis, a good analysis of what structure would be for this piece of writing. So pay very attention and listen. Capo organizes his passage spatially, okay? He brings his reader from great distances to the periphery of the village with its border of main-like tracks and roads, rivers, and fields to the heart of the town, its unnamed, unshaped, paved streets. As the reader journeys through the stark village, he or she is led eventually from the outskirts of the town, seemingly one bright spot, the prosperous Holcomb School. So the structure, how does the author structure this so that it can be as effective as possible? So we're going to write down what I just said to you, okay? So Capote organizes his passage, organizes that's not how you spell it. His passage spatially. Okay, so spatially as far as how the let's fix these. As far as how the great distances that we're going to refer to in the next. He brings his reader from the great distance. So brings, that's not a word at all. He brings his readers um, from great distances. And once again, this is a quote. Always keep short, nice quotes so that we can remain, so that the readers know that it's your thought. That is really most important. And you're using the quotes to back up your thought. So, to the periphery of the village with its borders of the village with its borders, okay, of main like tracks, of main like tracks, we can, okay, like tracks, okay, and road, river, and fields, and roads, river, and fields to the heart of the town, to roads, rivers, and fields to the heart of the town, to the heart of the town. This. Um, and then let's continue. And it's unnamed, unshaped, unpaved streets. And so, and it's unnamed, named, unpaved streets, unnamed, unpaved streets. Yes. Oh, okay. Hang in there. We're almost done with this series, so keep watching. So, as the reader journeys through the Stark village, he or she is led eventually from the outskirts to the town, seemingly one bright spot. So the only time in the passage where there is even a happy type connotation is whenever they reach this bright spot of the school in Holcomb, and that is the prime, the epicenter of awesomeness. Okay, because that's where the author really describes the place as being of wealth, of being a lot different in comparison to the first couple paragraphs that we read about the creepiness. Also, we have also gone over that many of times. So, just understanding what is happening is very key. As the reader journeys through the Stark village, he or she, so as the reader journeys through the Stark village, he, okay, journeys through the Stark. He or she is led eventually from the outskirts. He or she is led from the outskirts to the oh, okay, to the epicenter. Okay, to the town seemingly one bright spot, or to the epicenter, however you want to word it, to the town's seemingly one bright spot. Um, the prosperous Holcomb School. So they're naming the bright spot, and that is the Let's put it up. Prosperous Holcomb School. Okay. So do remember. Um. So that's how it's set up. So this person. This is the second paragraph in your rhetorical analysis, and this person has said that this uh sorry, I'm moving, said that this is how the author makes the structure happen. The author first talks about the village, okay, then it moves into the epicenter or the bright spot of the village, which is, as we know, the Holcomb School. So that's how you want to write. You want to write. So we're using structure, as you know. That's what we're talking about. You want to write so that we know exactly what the author is doing, okay, and it is explained why the author is doing that as we go down. So let's keep writing. Kipot develops our interest in the school by contrasting. Exactly. Beautiful. And that's why it's very important. He develops Kapot. So we can even or actually I want to done it. I will just make this a different color. Let's do Kapot develops an interest um in the school. Our as in reading. So we can do our if You can do in or out, whatever. But develops our interest in the school by contrasting. So that's what we were talking about. If we scroll all the way down, that's why we took our notes, because contrast between the first three paragraphs and the last two, that's very important. That's very significant. In order to, you must identify what the author is doing, the main thing the author is doing, and for the structure to be that way, and why the author put the structure that way is so that he can indeed contrast the beginning to the end. So please do remember that everything that you're reading is important. So let's continue. So K-pop develops our interest in the school by contrasting it with the bleak and lonely aspects. It with the bleak and lonely aspects of the town, or of the first three paragraphs. So the first three paragraphs, or you can just say the town, or you could say the past, or you could say the town, okay, or the first three paragraphs. Yeah, and then so let's continue. Holcomb has done well despite its forbidding description. Okay, so we know that Holcomb has done well despite its description. And this is a quote. Holcomb has done well. That has done well is in reference to the passage. Despite its description, okay. And we already know the description. We already know. We don't want to be here. Okay. So, has done well despite its forbidden description. The passage could end now, except that K-pop chooses to develop his next paragraph. So we're recognizing what the author is doing within the structure. So we recognize, so they have recognized that the passage could have ended. Okay, the passage could have ended, except, okay, that K-pop chooses to develop his next paragraph. That K-pop chooses to develop his next paragraph. We recognize as the reader, let's spell today. We recognize as the reader that it could have ended. Very important that you are observant that way as a reader. Except that K-pop chooses to develop his next paragraph. We know that for structural purposes, K-pop chooses to develop the paragraph still. Continue. That's significant, and we're going to explain that with the words "until one more," thus taking the reader on another journey. Okay, so let's calm ourselves because we're too excited. Okay, this passage could have ended, except that K-pop chooses to develop his next paragraph. Okay, so in this paragraph, with the words, okay, paragraph with the words until one morning, and in your annotations or in your plan, you would have seen this contrast, and you would have said, thus taking the reader, you would have understood, you would have to have had an assumption. You would have seen the contrast until one morning. Okay. You would have seen this, okay? And then you would have been able to try to figure out, why does the author do that? The author does this, okay, to take the readers on another journey.